Welcome to the show. In today's episode, we are going to take a look at a new technology to generate electricity from thin air. Then we're going to see one of our favorite robots getting put to work. Our next story will be about using millimeter waves to melt through Earth. We're looking at deep Earth boring here. And then we are going to finish up with some great news for animals that have been used to advance the sciences. I'm Zach. This is Zach DTV, and we are going to start right off with the University of Massachusetts has developed a device that can literally generate electricity from the air. Yes, I kid you not. Researchers Jun Yao and Derek Lovely at University of Massachusetts Amherst have created a device they call AirGen. Not a cool acronym, but still, we'll roll with it. It's a cool device. And what it is an air-powered generator. It uses electrically conductive protein nanowires that are generated by a bacteria and sandwiches them in between two electrodes. When the water, moisture in the air comes into that protein nanowire mess, it completes the circuit and allows for the transfer of electricity. That's right, they're generating electricity using the moisture in the air. In fact, that's a statement from Yao. We are literally making electricity out of thin air. The AirGen creates clean energy 24/7. And that's really the beauty of this technology, is unlike your other mainstream renewable energy devices, this doesn't require rain, sun, wind. It will just sit around and use the moisture from the air to conduct electricity. Now, these researchers do say that currently this device doesn't make a lot of power yet. This is its first iteration. They are looking to build it into, say, like a patch or something to that effect that can power things like a smartwatch or whatnot. Eventual goals for it, though, would be to paint it on the side of a building and use it to generate power. Maybe for off-grid homes, things to that effect. As it sits right now, they do use gold in the product, but they say you change it out with carbon and it works just as well. And they've even gone as far as turning basic E. coli into a protein nanowire factory, basically, in order to produce the nanowires that are needed for this product. So really, manufacture is quite cheap. It's just getting everything tuned so it can be manufactured to scale. If something like this that you could really scale up, I think would work really well. You know, as I got ready here to segue into my next story, I just realized that most of my stories today are about generating energy. That's kind of funny. This next one is not as clean as my first one, but it does bring up our favorite robot dog, Spot. Boston Dynamics started offering Spot for sale last September, if I'm not mistaken. And you know, everybody's, cool, Spot's for sale. You really haven't seen much use for this dog-like robot. Now, we've all seen Adam Savage getting toted around by his. Pretty cool, by the way. It's amazing what this thing can do. Well, now, a Norwegian oil company known as Aker BP has put out plans to use Spot on one of their test oil rigs. And Spot's not the only one they plan on putting to work on this rig. They also plan on using some drones and some other technology, other robots, things like that, in order to test their ability to increase performance, safety, just general function of these offshore rigs. I think it's a great idea. They did say Spot's being hooked up with a suite of sensors so he can detect gas leaks, readings on valves, stuff like that. Things that would normally take a human being to do. Basically what this would end up doing is allowing, instead of needing an operator on each individual oil rig to maintain these checks and make sure everything's running correctly, they could use one guy stationed at a home base on land. And he could ride around with Spot via telepresence and make sure everything's going well. You know, that seems like something that would be good for the company. And it'd even keep employees safer, keep them out of danger zones, which is good for humanity. I think that's exactly what we need robots for. Let's move from that into drilling with millimeter wave technology. there's a company, Alt-Rock Energy, who wants to use millimeter wave technology to bore holes into the ground. Now, we're not just talking like, a couple 100 feet for a well or something. They're talking 20-kilometer deep holes in order to tap into real Earth geothermal energy. Pretty neat, right? According to Alt-Rock, just 1% of the Earth's geothermal energy could power everyone for 1 million years. Amazing. Amazing. What I didn't know is they say the Earth's core is at 6,000 degrees Celsius. I'm sure I heard that at some point through my schooling, but it's not a fact that stuck with me. 6,000 degrees Celsius. It's all well and good that there's that much heat down in the center of the Earth. It doesn't matter. We can't get to it with our current technology. Right now, using metal drills that grind up the rock and pulverize it on their way through only gets us somewhere around like 3 kilometers into the Earth. There's been a couple projects that have gone a little deeper, but you really can't do it. And so that makes geothermal heat kind of too expensive of a technology to pursue. And that's why they say that only 0.2% of all global power is generated by geothermal heat. But recently, this company, Alt-Rock, received a grant of $3.9 million from the U.S. Department of Energy's Advanced Research Projects Agency Energy. This is ARPA-E, not DARPA, ARPA. I know, drop the D off of it. And this is to cover a 3-year initiative to further the work of Paul Woskow, senior research engineer at MIT, who has been using millimeter waves to burrow through rock since about 2008. So this is a guy who knows what he's doing. Using this 10 kilowatt gyrotron, they are able to produce the waves that they need to punch through rock. It's not what they need to go deep, but it does show a complete proof of concept. As part of this grant, they will be able to move their research over to the Oak Ridge National Laboratory over in Tennessee, where they're going to be able to step up from a kilowatt to a megawatt gyrotron to make this even faster. Something that makes this process real nice, they say, is that it works exactly how you picture it would. You're microwaving the rocks to the point where they vaporize and fall apart. They extract it. You end up with a puddle of molten rock in the bottom of the hole. They extract the vapors. They extract what they can of the molten rock and just keep boring down through, melting in front of it. I picture it basically like starting a fire on top of a frozen lake. Eventually, it's going to melt its way through. This is the same kind of concept, only dealing with rock. A nice thing about this is as it's melting its way through, it vitrifies around it, so it's basically producing its own casing. And they say that helps overcome one of the big problems when drilling so deep. They have found that this kind of deep drilling in places like South Korea and whatnot have actually triggered earthquakes in the surrounding areas. According to the people doing this work, of course they want their process to work, this won't trigger earthquakes. Sure, there'll be a little bit of wave disturbance off into the surrounding materials, but it's not the same as the grinding, chugging, punching force needed to use a standard metal drill bit. They're going to be moving forward with this rather quickly. They need it to further their geothermal energy production goals. They do feel that this could be used to reinvigorate decommissioned coal steam power plants. They could drill a hole right next to the power plant and use superheated water coming out of the earth in order to power these old shut down plants. That'd be pretty cool. Reuse the old turbines. And hey, not only would you be getting good clean energy that way, but you'd be recycling too. That is a double win. And while we're on the topic of wins, here is a win for the scientific community. It is an unfortunate fact of life. It's just the way it is for the time being, at least. There's some developments coming up that might make animal testing a thing of the past. But for right now, it's what we have to do. And unfortunately, it has been just standard operating procedure that once these animals have been tested on, you put them down. What are you going to do with them? Well, there has been legislation passed that these animals can now be adopted out. Yes, you too. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, is giving these animals a chance to be adopted out. This was something that was passed last year but didn't go public until just now. I'm not breaking the news, but it just went public in the last couple days. They don't really tell you who can adopt them, how to go about adopting them, that kind of stuff. But this is one of those stories I'm going to keep an eye on because there are a lot of cats, dogs, rabbits, things of that effect that are used in these testings to make our drugs and food, make sure they're good for us, and they're not going to kill us or anything. And, if we can give them a good home when they've served us so well, then I think maybe that should happen for them. I don't know. I will keep my eyes on this one. I am linking the website. It's the FDA. I'm linking their website down below. Keep an eye on it. Let's get these animals a home. And on that, I am going to call it a video. I want to thank everybody for stopping in. If you enjoyed, make sure to click the subscribe button, click the like button, share it with your friends, help me grow my channel. Okay, I was a little over the top, but hey, it is what it is. I try to get videos out 3 days a week. Monday was a holiday this week, and I was in no shape to make a video, so I didn't. But I will be back on Friday, so I hope to see you then. And until next time, just, have fun. Be safe. I'll see you later.